Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law to stop talking about her miscarriage? Oh god, we've started off dicey, haven't we? Dicey. My 37-year-old wife is pregnant with our first biological child. We tried to have a baby in our 20s, went through fertility treatment and nothing worked. This pregnancy was a huge surprise and is a high-risk pregnancy. My wife is 20 weeks now. My brother and sister-in-law have 3 kids. Sister-in-law was pregnant again this summer and had a miscarriage at 21 weeks. They were obviously devastated and we felt awful for them. My sister-in-law talks about a miscarriage a lot, which is understandable, but it has been making my wife really anxious. So I first asked my brother if they can just stop bringing the miscarriage up in front of my wife. He said sure and stopped, but my sister-in-law didn't, so I asked her to, and she said that she will try. She didn't stop. Yesterday they came to visit us with the kids to stay a couple of days for Halloween. At lunch, my sister-in-law said to my wife, 20 weeks now, huh? I remember feeling the baby at 20 weeks. Sadly, we lost him at 21 and my wife had a panic attack. We left the room and I came back 30 minutes later and just lost it at my sister-in-law. I told her just for once to shut the hell up about a miscarriage. I feel like an ass, really. Am I the asshole? Yeah. You shouldn't have screamed at her. But I can understand why you were really upset. And obviously what your sister-in-law is doing is bad. What she went through is terrible. But to keep bringing that up to your wife, who is currently pregnant, it's a terrible thing that she's doing. So the sentiment is, I don't think you're an asshole for what you wanted to do, but screaming at her and screaming, stop talking about your miscarriage, probably wasn't the best way to do it. But your sister-in-law's an asshole too. So there you go, couple assholes. Am I the asshole for asking my dying father to sell his house to me for cheap as a condition to see him before he dies? Yes, you are. Do I need to read on? We already know. My 31-year-old father, no, he's 31, his father's not, was recently diagnosed with a terminal illness and doesn't have a lot of time left according to his wife. And they're struggling financially after paying for his wife's medical bills. I asked her to send me his reports because I wanted to verify everything before I engaged with them. He didn't believe her. He sounds like a treat, this guy. Turns out she was saying the truth. And he is actually sick. Now as a condition of seeing him before he passes and helping him out financially, I asked him to sell my child at home to me for 1/10 of his current market price. 1/10? Bloody hell, that's a steal. I got it cheap. I refused to dole out easy money. The house means a lot to me. It's the house my mum picked out and it's the home I hope to raise my family in once I have kids. He agreed, albeit reluctantly, because he has no other option right now. You're taking advantage of somebody who's dying. And it's your dad as well. You're sick, mate. Maybe there's more to this. The sale has gone through and the house is legally mine now. The money he got from the sale will help him get a proper hospice care. I will be flying out to another country in a few weeks, but his wife is insisting I stay and help her out with some of his care. His wife is accusing me of cheating a dying man out of his money and being a selfish prick. But he's already seen me. I visited him and helped him out financially by buying the house. I held up my end of the bargain. Am I the asshole for refusing to engage with him any further? Yeah! What do you mean? You're a nutcase, mate. That's bad. Wait, there's an edit. Let's read the edit. A lot of people have asked me the reason for the estrangement. The reason is simple. He messed my mum over. He contributed directly to her decline and eventual death. He and his wife agreed to my conditions. I didn't want to see him, but I did because he agreed to the sale. That was the deal. I drove to his now my home and met him and his wife. He wanted more from me emotionally and financially. I refused. Yeah, you're an asshole, mate. Like, at the end of the day, right? Maybe he was a terrible father. I don't know. But then don't see him. Don't take advantage of a dying person, offering yourself as some form of emotional support, take what you can from him, and then leave. You're a terrible person. That's it. Nothing else to say. Am I the asshole for telling my kid's babysitter that it was inappropriate for her to shower in my home? Now we're getting a bit spicy. Spice, anyone? Spices on it? I hired a babysit for my 5 and 3-year-old kids 2 weeks ago. My husband works shifts while I work long hours at a marketing company. So far, we've had no issues till yesterday. I came home at 6 p.m. and noticed the babysitter's wet hair and new clothes. She told me she took a shower after one of the kids spilled milk on her. I was confused but visibly upset. But she tried to reassure me the kids were fine, because my husband watched them while she took her shower. Aww. Which only lasted for a few minutes. I was more confused that my husband was home when he had a shift to cover. I told her I didn't think it was appropriate of her to shower in my home like that. She argued that it was fine and that she had no choice and couldn't leave the milk on her like that. We argued and my husband heard the commotion and got involved. He said it was not a big deal as he liked having a peek while she was No, I'm kidding. They didn't say that. It's not a big deal as I was making it out to be, but I told the babysitter that I did not appreciate how she basically ignored how I felt about this and dismissed my feelings still. She went home, but we still argued on the phone. She thinks she's done nothing wrong and said I was being unfair when I mentioned potentially cutting from her salary after that. Cutting from... I mean, doxing her some money. Docking a bit off. Keeping a bit of the change for yourself. Weird. My husband keeps saying that I'm overreacting and the poor girl couldn't handle having milk stains on her body and clothes. But I couldn't help feel it was inappropriate and she should have checked with me. Have you ever spilled milk before and left it? I spilled it in my brother's car once. It never went. It stunk forever. Am I the asshole for my reaction? Just for info, I'm the one who pays her, not my husband. I told her to call or text if anything happens. I didn't even know my husband was home at the time. If you notice, I said that I argued with her even before she told me my husband was home. And no, I didn't know how big the stain was, but she argued about being covered in milk for 6+ hours. As for the question of why my husband didn't go to work, he said he was feeling a bit sick and swapped shifts with a co-worker. The babysitter is 24. She said she has experience and yes, she normally brings a bag of clothes, wet wipes and stuff like that with her. Are you the asshole? Yes, you are. It's up to you if you don't want a babysitter who's covered in like sick or shit or anything else to be clean in your house. That is your choice. But to have a go at her after she's showered and you haven't set that boundary already, yeah, I think that's pretty bad. That's instinctively what someone would do if they're covered in smell. You're a little bit concerned that your husband might be into your 24-year-old babysitter. So you're concerned, wait, why was he home? And why is she showering? You're upset because you feel like something might have happened and you feel threatened. That's really what's going on. You're welcome. Just call me Dr. Phil. Dr. MJ Phil. Dr. M. Phil J. I hadn't thought it through. Just call me Doctor. Am I the asshole for bringing my wheelchair-bound boyfriend? Oh, sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. Am I the asshole for bringing my wheelchair-bound boyfriend? It's the way I'm saying it, innit? Wheelchair-bound boyfriend. To my brother's number 1 wedding. Number 1 wedding? Oh, no +1 wedding. Oh, Christ. Yes. My father, 31's brother, married 33s and got... I can't read. Me, 31, and my brother, 33, got married days ago. Jesus. He and his now wife sent me an invitation and mentioned a no... +1 rule. So basically she wasn't allowed to bring somebody with her to her brother's wedding. Meaning that I wasn't allowed to bring my wheelchair-bound boyfriend. Why'd you keep saying wheelchair-bound boyfriend for? Why didn't you just call him your boyfriend? Of 4 years with me, you got a 4-year-old wheelchair-bound boyfriend that you want to bring with you. You're not allowed. I tried to discuss an exception for this rule because for one, my boyfriend is family. And it doesn't work like that. You can't just brand him family, you know? And no one would deny that fact. Well, and 2, I could not find proper arrangements to have somebody watch him. I'm his primary caregiver while I was gone. I brought him with me to the wedding. My brother and his bride were livid and picked up an argument with me about it. My brother said some hurtful stuff, but I was glad he didn't say it in front of my boyfriend. I told him it's not like my boyfriend was making a fuss or being distracting. What do you mean making a fuss? You talk about him as if he is a child. Is he 4? Was I right? He just remained quiet and respectful of everyone around him. Oh, so he didn't do what they normally do and then wheel in and start going... or something. They don't really do that. My brother argued that none of that mattered and that the trust and respect he had for me was gone the minute I decided to stomp on his wedding boundaries and override the rules. My parents understood my side, but also said that it was my brother's wedding and I should have respected the rule he had for non-official couples. Wait, what's a non-official couple? They've been together 4 years. That sounds pretty official, to be fair. We've not been talking since the wedding. I tried calling him, but keep getting hung up on. His wife texted me yesterday to stop calling. Am I the asshole? It's not like I brought a hyperactive child to the wedding. I think he might have overreacted, but I'm not sure. Okay, there's a rule that you can't take a significant other, a +1, and you didn't listen to the rule. That's it. Do I agree with the rule? No, but it's not my wedding. So you gotta respect people's rules. That's the way it is. Or just don't go yourself. Like, that's the thing. It's not to impose yourself and break the rule because you don't agree with it. You could just not go. That's your option. I don't think it's right that you're not allowing me to bring my wheelchair-bound boyfriend, and so I'm not gonna go. That's your option. Yeah, you're an asshole. We're gonna finish on a controversial topic. I don't see non-binary people as non-binary. I'm very understanding when it comes to people's wants and needs. I think it's perfectly acceptable and even good to comfort someone's gender identity. I don't mean this in a hateful or malicious way at all. Genuinely. I will call a friend by whatever they want me to call them by. I have no issues or qualms with it, but I've come to a disturbing conclusion that even though I'm able to address non-binary people by preferred pronouns, I don't truly believe it. Every non-binary person I see as their birth sex and the given gender for that sex. Honestly, I don't really think that's a controversial take, because you can't help what you think. Nobody can control their own thoughts and feelings. All you can do is be in control of your actions. Even though I don't speak on behalf of them, I would think that most reasonable non-binary or trans people are not trying to control your thoughts, just how you treat them. So they're made to feel safe, respected, and welcomed. Anyway, there it is. That's the end. I got a really sore throat. I've been bad. Okay, let me know if you've been bad in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this video, guys. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree? Are there things we disagree on? Probably. I like to read it. But I'm going to make a new rule, though. I'm not going to get into like a back and forth. Sometimes that happens. The problem I have with it is that people can't see me when it's happening, so it might feel like there's more malice in my words and then I get uncomfortable. So I will read them. Maybe I'll say one or two things, but I'm not going to have disagreements with people in the comments. But I would love to see you disagree with me. If you do, put it down there. I'll just ban out. Ta-ra.